Hey everyone, before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stories like this need to be heard. The first thing I remember from that night was the smell of expensive perfume mixed with the sharp tang of alcohol, a scent that made my stomach twist without warning. It was my wife's friend's party, a sprawling penthouse in downtown, with floor-to-ceiling windows that showcased the city lights like a constellation we were all trapped beneath. I had wanted to come, but she insisted. "It'll be fun," she said, tugging at my sleeve as if I were a reluctant child. I tried to blend in, a glass of whiskey sweating in my hand, nodding at people whose names I barely knew. She floated through the crowd like she owned it, her laugh louder than anyone else's, bouncing off the marble walls. At first, I told myself it was just nerves, the room, the people, the music too loud, but then I heard her. "She can't last 2 minutes," she boasted, her voice carrying over a clink of ice and laughter. My chest went cold. I froze mid-step, tried to tell myself I'd misheard. But no, she was pointing right at me, smirking like it was a private joke for her circle of friends. I felt my hands go clammy, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. The room tilted slightly as if the chandelier above me had decided to weigh down on my shoulders. I'd spent years building a quiet, stable life with her, believing we were partners in every sense. And here she was, laughing, mocking, sharing a humiliating detail about something intimate that I never want to broadcast to anyone. I thought about leaving immediately, slipping out the door unnoticed. But then came the texts, the ones I'd been getting all week, the ones I tried to ignore. Short, cryptic, sent at hours when she was supposedly working late. A message from her: "Don't worry, tonight's just for fun," winking face dot. And suddenly, it wasn't just a party, it was proof. I wanted to ask her why. I wanted to scream. But all I could do was stand there, frozen, watch her charm everyone around her while my own humiliation settled like a weight in my chest. And then she winked at me. I followed her with my eyes as she drifted through the crowd, laughing at jokes I didn't hear, leaning close to men I barely knew. My stomach churned, a tight knot of disbelief and anger. Every instinct told me to grab my coat and leave right then, but a small, irrational part of me needed to see it, to confirm what I already feared. It wasn't long before my suspicion was undeniable. A man in a sharp suit whispered something in her ear, and she laughed, the sound light and cruel at the same time. Her hand brushed his arm, a casual touch that carried weight I'd never expected to see from the woman I'd trusted with everything. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. Another message from her. "Don't freak out. It's harmless. Just tonight." Harmless? My fingers trembled as I reread it. I tried to swallow, tried to convince myself I was overreacting. But then I caught a glimpse of the live camera feed from the corner of the room, the one she'd insisted we set up for security reasons. There they were, closer than friends should ever be, whispering, leaning in. My world narrowed to that moment. Her laugh, his grin, and the unmistakable sense of betrayal that wrapped around my chest like barbed wire. I thought back to little things I'd ignored. The way she left her phone on silent, the sudden late nights at work, the faint perfume that wasn't hers. Every red flag now made sense. I had been blind, and it was deliberate. She had made a choice, and I was on the other side of it, powerless to stop it. I didn't move, didn't speak. I just watched her from across the room, feeling the reality of it settle into my bones. The crowd faded, the music dimmed, and all I could hear was my own heartbeat. I realized in that nothing I said, nothing I did, could undo what was happening. I had invested years of my life in someone who saw me as a punchline, and then she saw me looking. Her eyes met mine, and for a split second, there was a flicker of guilt, or maybe surprise, but it was gone as quickly as it appeared. She smiled at me, the kind of smile that said, "You're still mine to toy with," and that was the moment I knew I had to make a choice. I left my glass on the table. The party, the lights, the laughter, it all blurred into the background. I went straight to our apartment. I packed my bags in silence, careful not to wake the neighbors, careful not to wake her if she came home. Each shirt, each pair of jeans, each little piece of my life with her felt heavier in my hands. By the time she walked in, I was gone, The apartment smelled faintly of her perfume. My door clicked shut behind me. The streets were cold, a sharp contrast to the suffocating heat of the apartment I had left behind. I kept my bag slung over my shoulder, my steps echoing against the pavement, each one heavier than the last. I didn't call her. I didn't text. She didn't deserve the satisfaction of knowing my pain in real time. I found myself at a small, dimly lit diner on the edge of town, a place I used to go when I needed space to think. I slid into a booth, the vinyl cracking under my weight, and stared out at the neon glow reflecting off the wet streets. Every memory of her, the laughter, the touch, the lies, came back in vivid detail, twisting my chest with betrayal. I thought about the life we built, quiet mornings over coffee, shared playlists, the little habits that made us a team. And now it was all gone, shattered in a moment of careless cruelty. My phone buzzed. I didn't look. I knew it was her. She would call, maybe even beg, maybe even lie again. But I wasn't there anymore. Hours passed, and I replayed every moment of that party. The mockery, the whispers, the betrayal. It all came into sharp focus. I realized the anger I felt wasn't just at her. It was at myself for ignoring the signs, for trusting too deeply, for believing in someone who clearly had no intention of protecting that trust. But within that anger, I found clarity. When I finally went home the next day, it was to my own apartment. I hadn't returned to her. I didn't want confrontation. I wanted freedom. I changed the locks, deleted shared accounts, and let the silence of my own space wash over me. For the first time in months, I could breathe without expected betrayal at every corner. And then it hit me. The lesson wasn't just about her cheating. It was about recognizing my own worth, about refusing to stay in a life where humiliation was served as entertainment. I realized I didn't need her validation, her love, or her lies. I had me, and for the first time, that was enough. If you ever felt the sting of betrayal, the heartbreak of someone you trusted mocking your love, know that leaving is not weakness, it's strength. Don't stay where you're not valued. Don't let someone else define your worth. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if the story moved you, hit subscribe. Life is too short to stay in the shadows of someone else's betrayal.